Oh, nobody's gonna join you.
I was moving things out of my little windows around. I'm like, let me see what we talking about. Yeah.
Never mind.
Hey community, here's what's brewing today.
Best of Ask Yo Aunteas and Curiosity of 2025.
So get your cups ready for Minority Report. Hey, welcome to Minority Report. It is Auntie Kerel.
It's Auntie Dawon.
And it's Auntie Jerrell. What's up?
Hey, y'all.
Welcome to the new year. It's 2026. Yes. Welcome in this bitch.
Happy New Year.
Look, y'all, leave the mess behind. It's a new year. It's your chance, okay? Some of y'all keep rinsing and repeating the same bullshit. Let it go.
Or at least get through the winter and maybe pick it back up in the spring. Shit.
I mean,
let it go a little bit.
Something. What that white girl say? Let it go. Let it go.
That hoe don't bother me anyway.
Just saying.
Oh, man. 2026. 6 years like COVID, it's just like wild to think we're in the back half of this decade now. Mm-hmm. And I don't think it's been the roaring 20s yet.
It's been a something 20s.
It's been a something.
I mean, honestly, when I think about it, it's been a hot mess like by 20s. So this is very on brand. This reminds me of how my actual 20s were. So
I guess.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah. Like, goodness sake. But it's weird to be in a whole nother year again, and I don't know. Like, I know we ask this, and every year y'all like, I don't do that shit. But do you do any new resolutions this year, or things that maybe I frame it differently? Just things that you hope to achieve this year. It doesn't have to maybe, and I guess that's the same terminology, but maybe we phrase it a little different. Anything you're like, I hope by the end of the year I do X, Y, Z.
Nah, honestly. 2025 was such a good year for me that, like, I just wanted to just be anything remotely similar to 2025, and I'll be good. Like, I'm just praying that 2026 don't do a 180 on my ass, and it's just because outside everything was a mess, but inside, girl, she great,
Gucci,
harmonious.
Look, new house, promotion, and married. Yeah. I'm good.
Yeah.
So I
know that's right.
I mean, we start the baby process this month, so
yeah. So there you go.
That's the next journey. Yeah. But again,
goal.
But going through surrogacy and all that shit that comes with it. I mean, there's just a lot of variables that we just don't have control over. And I just hope that it doesn't become a nightmare. Like, you hear plenty of stories about, queer couples and even just, straight couples who have issues with fertility, conceiving, having fertility issues and being years before they're able to have a child. So I don't get that kind of money no time. So I just want it to be one and done. Like, I just want to knock it out the box the first time, and we got our kids.
Knock it out the box, Rick. Yeah. Knock it out, Rick. Yeah. I hear you.
So
what about you, Dawon?
Yeah, I don't really do resolutions, but going into 2025 was kind of my year of saying yes. And what I mean by that is, I'm fortunate that I've lived a pretty, I'm very happy with the life that I've lived, and, a lot of the choices that I made. But I oftentimes wonder if my need to kind of be secure in knowing the direction, having a goal and going after that with the kind of fervor that I go after my own goals is, and they're not tied to just 1 year. So that's why I don't qualify those as kind of like New Year's things, but it's like, to be happy in a relationship, to be, to be surrounded by people that I care about and that care for me, and a, very authentic and real kind of way, like those kinds of things. And last year I took a lot of risks, with my career and in my personal life that I probably would have avoided, and chose a much more safer kind of conservative route, all across the board. And, I trusted the universe, and I'm very happy with how things ended up turning out. So long way of saying, going into 2026, I really want to do more of that. I really want to lean more into, the possibility that not everything has to be like, I don't need to know what the end road is going to be. I don't have to insist on it looking a certain kind of way or showing up a certain kind of way. Success in life can show up in a lot of different ways, in ways that I don't expect. But if I'm still narrow-minded in my pursuit of, happiness in life and whatnot, I can miss some blessings. And this year was a big eye opener for me in that. So I would love to continue doing that. Go into next year, taking more risks, really trying to taste the most that I can out of life, that may be unexpected and could have the potential to surprise me. And I've grown a lot this year, just interpersonally, and so I'm up for the challenge with that.
Yeah. Well, you also, when this episode comes out, you have a big milestone birthday this year too. Yeah, so,
I do.
We got a big turn up that's going to be happening.
Yeah.
I don't know if we're going to be on the tables in Greece, but we're going to be on somebody's tables in somebody's country. I know that much.
Yeah. That's the big question, is where is that going to be? Where is that going to be? Because I sure as hell don't want to celebrate my 50th here in the States.
And you won't. I couldn't even imagine.
I was about to say,
look, unless your ass is in a hospital bed and somebody gown assless with a foot up in the air, you ain't gonna be in the States. You ain't gonna be in the States.
Yeah. I'm gonna have my little 50th on some alien craft headed towards planet Nubia, where all the black people are from.
Okay. At first, look, because I was kombucha, because at first you said alien spacecraft. I said, but then you said with all the black people, and I was like, well, hold on.
You did kombucha girl,
right? Exactly. Because you lost me at the spacecraft, but then you gave me with the niggas. I was like,
is it plus
right? Still.
Yeah. What about you?
How about you, Rel?
What are you thinking?
I give a similar answer every year, like continued health, continued growth at work, continued growth of the podcast. Those, and honestly, the health and the podcast, and obviously like my relationship with my husband and family, things like that, that's like a given. But that's all I really care about, really, anymore. It's like, I enjoy doing the podcast. I enjoy obviously like making music and things like that. But like I'm trying to like choose peace in all avenues and as best I can, and that's what all I want. I just want peace, because peace equals joy to me. So if it's not making me happy, it's not fulfilling, learning to say no to things that don't, and saying way more yeses to things that truly bring me joy.
Yeah.
And so whatever that looks like. So it's maybe a slightly vague answer, but it's just like looking at every decision through that lens. As best I can. Obviously, some things you can't escape, that, like, be like, okay, it's not the most peace on earth, but I gotta do it to get to the peace. So that's the lens of anything that I kind of look at anymore. But yeah, stepping out this summer, like, what the fuck did Kerel do? That's the vanity part. That's the goal right now. Just continue this journey, and it's oddly so. It's just like I'm actually enjoying it. Like, that's the weird thing. It's like I'm enjoying working out, which I never thought I'd say 2 years ago. So that's been kind of fun. But continued joy and peace and health for my family and friends. That is such an old man answer, but you realize just it is. But the older you get, you just realize that's all that really matters. Like, like a lot of this shit is not that deep. It really is.
I don't know. We all know people who have gotten older, and that is not where their mind went. So.
Oh. Damn, well, it ain't in my orbit, nor do I want it to be in my orbit. I don't want chaos. I don't want chaos at all.
That's just growth,
And I've always kind of maybe been like that. I've never been a chaos human being, but increasingly so.
Yeah. I think that's a gift of getting older, the gift of maturity. It's, realizing that, you have choices, and, how you want to live your life and what you let into your life. And there are certain cracks that you're like, oh, you know, I still like hanging out with that person, I still like doing that thing, but you know that it doesn't like it's not for you. It's not for you, you know, and you know, the older you get more comfortable with weeding some of that shit out. And it's lovely.
I don't want it. I don't want it. So that's all I want. And obviously, I mean, traveling and things like that. Like, I'll find a way to do that. Get more money. I always want more money, so find ways to do that. But ultimately, it's just like to be comfortable and peaceful as best as I can. And we always preach this, like, thank you, God, that like I'm in a position that there is a privilege to it that I'm able to maybe request that more easily than maybe other folks at stages of life and things like that. But yeah, that's all I want. Just the health of my family, continue to see my nieces and nephews grow, my parents stay alive, my husband be well, me be well, my friends, my aunties be well. Like, that's dope. And people just striving and succeeding. That's dope to see as well. Like, it's cool to see like your crew and your peoples and your life succeed and be happy as well. So so that's all I care for. So that's the energy I'm putting out there, because it'll come back to you as well if you put that out there. So
absolutely.
Well, I guess before we can get into the future, we got to circle back to the past, because it's
one more
another episode.
Yes. You know, we'll be back next week with a whole brand new spanking new and catching up what we did while we was on vacay. Yeah. But one more reminisce moment here, and it's going to be the best of Ask Yo Aunteas and Curiosity. And Community, we combined this because we didn't get as many Ask Yo Aunteas in 2025. So that's also what I want in 2026. It's some Ask Yo Aunteas questions.
That's on y'all. That ain't on us. I'm just going to put that out there. That's on y'all. So,
amen. Yeah, we're scolding y'all right now.
And just in case you're wondering, how do you submit your Ask Yo Auntie questions? It's
AYA at minoritetyreport.com, or send it to the T line. And what's that T line number, boo?
It's 844-832-5463.
Amen. Yeah, we want to know like what's kind of going on in your lives. Like that's how we're able to connect with you and then kind of give our, you know, opinions, sometimes slightly shady, but that's the fun of it.
Absolutely.
And I know somebody got some story after the holidays. So,
honey,
you know,
Thanksgiving,
I did start by saying,
Christmas.
You know, leave the mess behind. But if you want us to carry the load for you of the mess, you know, that's a good way to upload it. You know, exactly. But like, it ain't you carrying it over; it's the aunties carrying it over. You see how we did that? Look, See, look, I'm gonna help you. Yes. I got you.
Yes.
But let's see here. Some of the Ask Yo Aunteas that we did have last year. Let's see here. Dawon, you're going to kick it off. What
I'm kicking off with the Ask Yo Auntie because this one took off like a firestorm. This was the Ask Yo Auntie. It was episode 336, and it's the Ask Yo Auntie CEO caught up. And this is where CEO caught up and HR too, because it wasn't just the CEO. And I picked this in part because the internet, especially Black Twitter, never fails. When stuff like this goes on, like this was fodder for weeks after the event. And you'll see when you watch the episode what we had to say about that. So go ahead and roll the clip.
All right, ladies, what time is it?
Ask your auntie.
All right, who wants to read it? Dawon, I feel like you haven't read one in a minute.
Yeah.
I can read it. All right. Okay.
It's a little button in the right corner.
No, I got it. It's just, she old. Alma, check your battery.
Right, she said, I'm turning 49.
Honey. Right. Why you trying to tell me what to do?
I was helping. Who you trying to tell?
Help these nuts.
You said you can't tell me nothing. I'm grown.
All right. Hey, aunties. Imagine sipping your wine at home, scrolling, and suddenly, boom. There's your man all over social media, cozied up with somebody else at a Coldplay concert, or likely, in our case, Beyonce concert. Do you call him, change your locks, or do you repost the video with a "since we all find it out together" caption? Best bar.
That's funny.
How would y'all have handled that situation? Any advice for the spouses?
That is so funny. Okay, first of all, that Coldplay situation, we didn't really talk about it.
Wild.
It was hilarious. Someone on the internet said, you know, Coldplay haven't released a single in a while, and now they just released 2. I fell out. Look,
It's rare to see all of the internet together in one accord.
across all the aisles. All the aisles. Child.
It's the audacity for me. That whole situation.
It's the apology for me.
God
It's
damn.
It's the
the
HR
audacity.
moment after that too, with the
Well,
Gwyneth Paltrow.
she was HR. She was HR.
I'm the HR now. She's right. She's the head of people. Okay, damn.
What'd you say about sexual harassment in the workplace?
She said we ain't take the training yet this year. Could you imagine having to roll that shit out in a couple of weeks? Be like, damn, we ain't rolled this out yet, and I'm in the center of this shit.
Not her being the face and the voice of the training video too.
Baby, right? You don't need no cartoons no more.
Look,
Yeah.
child. I don't know. Here, my thing is, first off, I really don't give one flying fuck. And I mean, if that's what you want, nigga, go have what you want. You know, that's my MO. I'm gonna take what's mine and take what's yours, and I'm gonna leave like Dawon did.
Right?
Okay.
Grab my pocketbook.
Look, okay, I'm good. Like you, actually, you know what? Actually, I was ready, but you know what? You helped me realize I was ready to go. So I would have done you know, since we all find out together, we're gonna do a Bernardine and lit that shit on fire and burn that shit down, and then took my shit and left. But again, just I don't understand how stupid people are, and I will be completely transparent. I have cheated before in a relationship. Okay, I am not proud of it. I have done it. I have not been that person ever before. But if you are going to be disrespectful and hurtful to someone, it's a whole nother level of waving that shit in the general public's face to other people as if that's the person you're with. You know, I think it's one thing if you doing it behind closed doors, and you know, at least have the decency, have the privacy of the disrespect that you're doing to someone. To publicly do that shit's wild to me. And then to try to blame Coldplay, being like, we had a private moment shared between two people.
You had a public event.
A public event, my nigga. Damn, what you mean? Ain't a Nair stadium you ain't never been to that has never had the Jumbotron on. Mm-hmm. Every concert, every sporting event has the big ass screen on for a reason. I don't want to hear it. You just mad because
you got caught up.
You knew you weren't supposed to do
caught
it.
Out there.
Look, caught up. Got me feeling it. Caught up. Okay.
I was thinking Khalees. I hate you so much right now. Caught out there, baby.
Wow.
It's wild. It is so wild because like it just literally makes me think of like everything that's in the dark will come to light, and that's like if that is not just the definition of like damn, what are the odds? So I don't know how I would have reacted. And part of it is just like you got me out here looking foolish. That's probably almost the biggest part of it. Like I don't know if I care, but I don't like if you will booed up and hugged up with some dude. Okay. And maybe the situation we in right now is a little different. Maybe coming from gay culture and shit like that. But like, I don't even think that's the part that would have like made me too upset. Like, let's talk about this. If that's what you want, okay, cool, figure that shit out. But now you got me out here looking like a fool. Mm-hmm. And people looking for my name on Facebook and Instagram and shit. And I got to take my last name off my Facebook and shit like that. That's the part that would like infuriate me probably the most. It's just like, you that reckless? Come on now. Like, you that reckless?
And it's one thing if you like It's one thing if it just happens and like you find out. You have the option to work through that shit on your own terms if you choose to.
You have
now,
no option
whatever
now.
choice you decide to do, whether it's to leave or to stay, somebody gonna have something to say.
Crazy.
Somebody gonna have something to say because you might love your man and be like, you know what? I understand. Maybe she messed up at one point and maybe he coming back around. Don't matter. The opposite is that man fucked up. And even if there was some understanding or something along those lines like that,
it's too public.
It's too public. It's too public to get ahead of anything.
It's above me.
Bitch, literally. Bitch, literally.
So I honestly, I think I would have like ignored every call because like I think it would have made like I don't know, Corey, but I think it would have made him more irritated that I wasn't answering the texts, not answering the calls and things like that because clearly I've seen it. Like the world has seen it. So I think I probably even would have been like, I would have been MIA when he got home, either packed my shit and gone, or whatever I might have done. It would have been like, you ain't hearing from me for a minute because I got to sort out what the fuck just happened.
But girl, where you gonna go is the question because
I
the world.
I don't know.
Bitch, you gonna be like Justin Timberlake, a man in the woods. That's where you gonna be at,
baby.
because
ooh, Montana. because. Yeah, like I'm gonna probably go to my parents' house. Quite frankly, that's where I probably go. Either my parents' house, my sister's house. Let me chill out for a minute to figure out what the fuck I want to do. Because now you have made this decision a public decision. Mm-hmm. It is not between us anymore.
Yeah,
and so that's what I think I would be so irritated about. It's just like, yes, I'm mad at how it went down, and especially if it wasn't an open or whatever your situation is. That's irritating. But now and I get that you're not planning for that to be, but like you add a fucking public event like that, it's going.
And you got my ass at home. You at a Coldplay concert, knowing that concert sold the fuck out. You dropped money for them tickets, and I'm at the home putting the kids to sleep, doing your laundry, bitch.
I'm listening to Coldplay on Spotify and your ass at the concert. That actually low key might be what made me even the worst, man. Bitch, you know I wanted to go to that damn concert. You on here booed up at that hoe, and her hair straggly as it is anyway. Margaret Taylor looking motherfucking hoe. Like,
y'all, I'm
go ahead, Dawon.
I'm a Leo. I ain't got time to be playing this kind of shenanigan games.
Yeah.
The first thing I'm going to do is contact my lawyer. Let's get all this. Let's get all this shit up and get up.
Draft it.
Let's figure that.
Get it in that DocuSign right quick.
Dawon said, "Are we finished or are we done?"
Yeah. What is there to talk about?
Yeah.
I don't even care what even if there was an arrangement, who knows what's been going on in the context of their relationship. Maybe they were on the precipice of divorce and were already seeing other people for a long time. Who knows, who cares? At the end of the day, at this point, there ain't nothing to talk about because you done showed your ass on national goddamn TV, and now I have to be the one to suffer because of this.
Yeah.
Oh no, there's nothing else for us to talk about.
There is one thing to talk about. How much money you gonna get? How much money you gonna get? That's what you'd be talking about.
He said, "No, the lawyers will talk about that."
We will have spokes individuals who will do those kind of calculations, and I guarantee you, I'll be getting half. We talking half, if not more. So, and the evidence is right there. So,
because why you ducking the weaving then? Staying in that whole ass truth, though. Staying in that whole ass truth. They said, bloop, bloop, bloop. Yeah, man.
Like honestly, like for me, like I'm a Leo, so I ain't gotta mince no goddamn words. I ain't gotta waste my breath on you. When it's over, it's a wrap.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a wrap.
Yeah.
So you ain't got to worry about what I'm gonna say. You better worry about what I'm gonna do. And you better not come around me
That's
either.
a bar.
Just saying.
I know that's right.
Don't come around me.
That Ohio came out.
So,
you better not come around me either, nigga.
I know that's right.
Yeah, I've been kind of reckless with my language.
We here for it. Dawon back. Shar back. Y'all ask where Dawon at. She back.
That's the hot yoga for you right there. She coming in hot.
No, baby, it was them hot Cheetos.
Look, see, there it is.
Hot.
I mean, what in the caucasity is going on with that situation? That is one of the whitest things that has been televised. You at a fucking Coldplay concert, all booed up, hugged up, snuggling and guggling. And get caught.
And that's Chris Martin calling that shit out live too.
Oh, he's like, oh, I hope I didn't get
affair or
that was the part that got me. I was like,
and that shows you how obvious it was from the second it happened.
Baby,
the second it happened.
And look,
that was a setup.
From a practicality standpoint.
Somebody told.
They must have hired one of Wendy Williams's cameramen.
One of the employees from that company was there, be like, bitch, that's the CEO and the HR lady.
Better shoot up there. Shoot up there. Yep.
Look.
She paid that cameraman off.
Like most CEOs and most heads of HR go through a certain level of media training, which basically says when you are out in public, you need to be very aware of what you're doing. So even if they have a situationship going on or whatever, as a classically trained, media, CEO that has media training, you should know not to be out here in these streets being all like boogly boogly with people that you work with. Like,
she put that good poon poon on them.
And it's also the odds too. If you like, there are thousands of people,
tens of thousands
that camera could have been on, and you found the one.
That means they was really snuggled up, because that's what the cameraman is looking for. Like, those are really enjoying
the
concert,
whole time
really
they were
snuggled up.
in it.
Yeah.
Boot up. And got
and that's the Ask Your Aunties title right there. Ask Your Aunties. Boot up.
Boot up. My boo. Well, community, let us know. What would you do in that situation? How would you have handled it? Let us know. Send your Ask Your Aunties also AYA at minorityReport.com. I haven't stumbled that in a minute. AYA at minorityReport.com, or DM us, or hit us up on the T line. And Dawon, what is the T line number?
That is 844-832-5463. Hey.
And that was one that was like not even obviously like a community submission. Like, it was just everywhere. So we had to talk on that one. So the community was like, well, it ain't my situation, but what y'all think?
Honestly, I feel like anybody that goes on a work trip knows a situation, either it happened to them or somebody that they knew that got a little bit too comfortable being away from home. And this was a shining example of that. And I just think that's what makes it so relatable, and just like, it literally was like a Wile E. Coyote kind of like cartoon moment as soon as the camera panned on them and they just kind of ducked out of there.
She said.
Like,
oh my God. And here's the thing. If she would have probably just stayed, like,
they could have played
it would have went viral. Like, they would have just,
yeah.
It wouldn't have blown up on the internet, nothing. They probably would have gotten away with it, quite frankly.
Yeah.
But the second she ducked, they're like, oh shit, we know what that means. We know what that means.
Like, two things that still gets me. Like, I just don't understand how anyone could go to work and think about mixing business with pleasure. Like, they were white, so there's a layer of privilege in there that I think I know exactly where that comes from. Exactly. But most of us know that, like, you can't afford to lose this job, so I'm not going to do anything that's going to ever jeopardize my job.
Right.
So there's that. But also, what also got me, though, too, again, coming from that privilege, the idea of blaming Coldplay, being like, we were just trying to have a sensible night out, moment shared between two people. Bitch, you went to a 20,000 plus venue concert.
Yeah.
You trying to have a solo moment with 20 other thousand people. Get the fuck out of here.
And you're in a loge. You're like in one of those corporate loges. I mean, I don't know if it was corporate or whatever, but like, you're surrounded by, it's not like you were just two random people sitting in your own chairs in the midst of the audience. Like, you were literally in a skybox with a bunch of other people, you know, having your little hors d'oeuvres and cocktails and whatnot, and just decided to let it all hang out. And we saw that shit. And laughed.
But you know what? Now that I think about it, though, you're right. They were in a whole box. Yes. And damn, I mean, all them people knew what was up. All them people knew what was up.
Right.
Damn. That's the whole box full of not sugar people. That's not shit people. That's
They was all like, I ain't saying shit because they was HR and CEO. I
like
got
HR
bills
CEO.
to pay home.
Right.
In this inflationary times. I'm keeping my mouth shut today.
Like, look, I'm just glad to be here. I try to stay
out
of grown folks' business. Like,
Nigga, I've been trying to see Coldplay for a decade. I ain't fucking this up.
I didn't that part.
I didn't know.
Those niggas are always sold out too.
Fat.
So they said, not today. I ain't. I ain't saying shit.
They got
Who am I gonna report it to anyway?
They got bruises all over their anyway. They got bruises all over their legs and whatnot from ducking and diving and crawling around trying to get off the cameras and all that kind of shit. Like, that is hilarious. That is
how you gonna report the head of HR and the CEO?
What are you gonna do?
Damn.
Nothing. Go to the Coldplay concert. Mind your business. Choose peace. That's what I'm gonna do. That's what I'm gonna do in this luge. The Dawon word of 2026 is. Oh God. All right, Jerrell, what you got, boo? What was your favorite? Let's see here, Ask Yo Aunteas or
Mine was episode 319, which was right before this, I believe, and it was a curiosity, and it was the aunties who's more likely to, and I really enjoyed the episode because we had some wild ass fucking questions. Like most likely to boo boo on the floor. And there it is. That's the best part. Wait, because hold on, I have to redeem myself because I couldn't find him, but she got him now. So look.
Oh well, shit.
Look, we got him now. So. Wait, Dawon, why are ours in the same order though? Too. We literally have the exact same order.
We're gonna have to bring that back in 2026. We ain't do that one enough. We gotta bring our faces back.
So here's the clip of the curiosity.
So life keep moving, but here we go. So we thought it'd be fun. We haven't done this since when we had our in-person event back in November. A most likely to curiosity, and you know we're bringing back the mugs here.
Okay, yeah, I have to admit, real quick.
You couldn't find.
I can't find them. I left them at work because when we recorded last week, I showed them literally on camera. So they are literally sitting in the Amazon office somewhere right now with our faces on popsicle sticks.
That's why he was digging in that bag that whole first 10 minutes.
You got some Post-its.
Baby, that's why I
Post-its. That's why get a marker right on your hand.
Girl. I literally was like,
baby, the way that you and I have been cycling with each other, Kerel,
I know.
Like, it's crazy.
And I haven't even finished the story about the shoulder. Like, last week when we started talking about the shoulder, I'll tell you about the shoulder after. Because I was like, girl, how the hell we do it? Literally. Well, Jerrell gonna say who he think it is.
Yes.
And I still need to buy me a new Dawon one because I still got the shard.
Oh, Lord, you can't even see that.
Yeah, so...
You know what, all right. Jerrell, why don't you pull your phone up and then just do a screenshot of us, and then you can just flip the picture to whoever you think. Because if it's you, then it's just you.
Because my questions are also on my phone.
Oh, that's fine.
Damn.
Well, just
that's all right.
Problematic.
That's all right. And down.
And down. All right. So
we'll make it.
So
work.
Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
All right. So, ladies, which auntie is most likely to get the most extreme or obvious plastic surgery procedure?
I feel like that might be Shar.
It's me. It's me.
It's 100%. The most extreme, the most obvious is the key word.
Yeah. It's definitely me because of the fact that I know somehow all of a sudden I'm like, how that bitch got a 6-pack? Where'd that come from? Like,
That is
it will be something, all of a sudden, it's just, and then you're like,
That is true.
but bitch, you was
because
a
she
nigga's
be coming
house.
with the blonde hair out the blue. You right. Yeah. You right.
Yeah. It would be me. Yeah. Yeah.
I know. We knew he had body, but then he got body out of extra body. How did he get that body?
Right.
And look, let me tell. I've been very open about like my dabbling into, like all this kind of plastic surgery stuff. So I tell y'all, but my shit ain't extreme.
That is true.
Maintenance.
Yeah. It 1,000% would be me. I know it 1,000% it would be me. Yeah.
It would.
She would be getting implants of blonde eyelashes.
All of a sudden I got like chest implants, like not like boobs, but like chest implants. All of a sudden, bitch just looking like, you're like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
She'll have a hair transplant to put hair on her chest in a certain pattern.
Honestly, because bitch, that's all I got. That's literally all I got. So you right. That's more and I would. I bitch would be in Turkey, like take it from the back of my head, bitch.
All right, who's next?
Who's most likely to get blocked by a celebrity online?
No, it's Dawon.
I think it might be Dawon too.
It's Dawon. It's definitely you. Because
you the one be on Twitter.
You the one to be on Twitter.
Instagram.
You be all in the conversations.
Yeah.
It is definitely you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Let it be like yeah.
Yeah. Because I'm not going to nobody post having a conversation about something that happened. I'm not like, if celebrity do something, I'm not going on their post being like, then why you didn't done this? If someone come to me, they gonna get the smoke and they'll get blocked because they came to my shit. But I see you
I
going.
think yours would be both ways. Like if they came to your shit or you sought it out.
Yeah.
You gonna say what needs to be said.
Yeah.
And then be like, damn, Dawon, I got blocked by Cardi B.
Because you be watching like Love
sitting
is
here
Blind, and you'll talk about somebody on Love is Blind, and then you tag them, boom, blocked.
Yeah.
The interesting thing is that I would never know it.
Right. That's true. 1,000%.
I would never know it. I would absolutely never know it because I don't follow a bunch of people like that. Especially people that I don't really have feelings for. And if I did have a certain kind of opinion about something, I would only say something that is correct. You might not like it, but it's correct. And then I would never know because I'm one of the ones that drops a bomb and leaves.
And that's what that celebrity said. Block.
And I would have never known.
Like, I can't tell her anything anyway, so boop, block.
Y'all comment below if y'all think that this is accurate.
And they do.
They do.
Look, I'm just trying to get our engagement up. All right, let's jump the next one.
All right.
Oh, man.
Most likely to moan the loudest during sex. I was going with Kerel as well too.
Me, I'm not verbal during sex.
I know that he's not, but I feel like when it's good, he would get really into it. And
exactly.
Something would come out that he would not even expect.
that primal, like, yeah, like
that might be true.
When the toes get to curling and shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Make me feel good.
Look, he'll be getting off all fours or off the bed or whatever. Legs be shaking, sweating, all stuff, and just like, woo!
Hey, amen. You just gotta say amen at the end. Okay, I'll give it to you. Yeah. I'm honestly not the most verbal, but you do have some moments, you know.
Yeah.
That's funny. Let's see here.
Jerrell,
Is it
next?
me?
I just won.
Oh, okay. Then you do one.
Then I think it might be Dawon.
So
It might be Dawon.
who would get the villain edit of a reality TV show if they were on it?
Ooh, I gotta think through this one now. My initial thought was Jerrell, but then that might be the obvious. I'm thinking Shard because it might not be as obvious. Like Jerrell's gonna be like,
they're gonna love
the
me.
given.
They're gonna love my shit.
No. Because there's a difference. No. Because here's the difference. I would get the villain edit, but you know who will be in the confessionals becoming the villain? Shar.
Right there.
Yeah.
Oh,
So,
not just
when
the
it comes to-
confessional. Not just the confessional. In your face. Because you're not allowed
Right.
to play with me.
But the edit would definitely be me. Because I'm the one doing this. Look. And that's why.
Ooh.
It
And
would
all
be
the
me.
it would be
It would
all
be
the
me.
sidebar conversations that she's having, like when nobody is around, when she's talking to one other person or two other people, and like, I know that bitch better than I say some shit to it. They just gonna do a super edit of all that stuff.
Yeah. It's gonna be the moment where somebody's talking to someone else about Jerrell and Jerrell overhears it. That's gonna be good TV. That's gonna be good TV.
Kerel will be the person that's too busy competing. I don't care about competing. I'll be the one that's just like, what are the relationship dynamics going on? Who's doing who do I like? Who do I don't like that part?
Yeah.
And then you will be ready to fight.
I'll be playing the game.
Okay.
But all right. Who's most likely to drop food on the ground and eat it?
I was gonna go with. I was gonna say me as well too, because I sometimes do the 5-second rule. Depending on where it is, though. So now I'm having a conversation like, well, who ground is it? Because at my house, my shit clean, right? So doing that shit in my home is a whole other thing than being like at a restaurant doing that shit. You feel me? Like,
Yeah.
I just feel like Kerel would be the one to just be like, not everywhere, because first of all, we black. So let's
exactly.
So it's not just any kind of food dropping on any kind of thing. It ain't like pasta dropping on the dirt. But if you drop a grape on the floor or whatever, like I feel like Kerel would be the kind of person. That's who I put up. Would be the kind of person who's like, I'm gonna just bless this one and go ahead and eat it because I'm gonna get a piece. I'm gonna go ahead and eat it.
Not really. Like I'm not a germaphobe. I don't know if I've ever said this on here. Like people that like, especially like my family, because like me and my dad are similar. I don't like food and stuff on my hands. Like the feeling of food and dirt on my hands. So it's maybe not necessarily the germs of it. It's the feel of grit and sauce and oil. I hate it. So if it drops on the ground like a grape and I feel any speck of like dirt on it, I hate the feeling of it. So I'm over it. Like today I actually dropped a grape on the floor and I was like, gave it to Tucker. So I'm like, I'll do that. So yeah, no, it probably ain't me.
It's funny you say that too, Kerel, because I totally see you being like, God damn it, I done dropped this goddamn grape. I really wanted that damn grape too. Now I gotta go get another grape. I gotta wash that one off. Yeah, I can definitely see you being like that.
It's annoying that I dropped it.
Yes.
Yeah, 1,000.
Okay. Who is most likely to date two guys at once?
Let's preface this by saying this is.
Then I'm saying my answer.
Hold on, wait a minute. Let's preface this by saying this is devoid of existing scenarios. So, like,
exactly.
anything that's related to this area might be devoid of existing relationship scenarios.
Situationships.
Okay, so ask the question again.
Most likely to date two guys at once? I ain't gonna lie, that one was a setup. That was a setup. I ain't gonna lie. I intentionally put that one in as a setup.
That part. It's the face too. It's the Beyonce face.
Why is this Beyonce? It's the Beyonce for me.
Community, you might need to watch this one over on YouTube. Anyway, I think actually a lot of folks have migrated to YouTube. Actually, just looking at the numbers. But if you're definitely listening to this, you might want to double up and watch this on YouTube.
To be clear, I do not. To be clear, I do not. But if we're talking about most likely, who has the highest propensity to, I can understand why that might be the choice.
I think I like. God forbid, like Corey and I are fine. But if I were to ever have to be back in the dating world, I think my perspective on dating now is different from when I was dating Corey 13 years ago. Like, it'd be interesting to see how I would date now versus then.
Are you thinking like less monogamy focused and more kind of like
1,000%.
polyamorously focused? Like I can enjoy and love and be with multiple people at the same time. And they have.
And I
their
probably
own
could
kind
have
of, like,
even
thing.
then. But I think the difference between Kerel at 27 or whatever, however old I was, and Kerel at 40 is I think I was forcing monogamy then. And now I see that, like, that's not, it doesn't have to be.
It doesn't have
like,
to
I think
be
I was
that
doing
way.
it just because that's what everybody told me I had to do. And so that's what I was doing. Versus now I can see that there's other options.
Yeah.
And that
Social
it doesn't
acceptance
mean-
around
Yeah.
this topic of polyamory or, you know, dating multiple people or just being open 10 years ago was still very much taboo and not necessarily well accepted, although it started becoming more of a topic of conversation. And now 10, 15 years later, you know, it's still not necessarily mainstream, but it's, you know, like people now understand that there are different ways that people can express themselves and different ways that they can love.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting because I thought about that too. Just kind of like if something happened, right, and I had to be out there dating again. Honestly, I wouldn't date. Honestly, like I wouldn't date, and I don't think I could do the polyamory like thing as well too, just because.
But would you fuck?
But that's not my term of dating, though. You know, like
22.
to me, like dating is a very much like getting to know someone, right? So like I would maybe do that, but as far as like being in a relationship or saying like this is a person that I'm in a relationship with, I'm not doing that with multiple people because that's just a lot of work.
Yeah.
For me, and I stay busy, right? I do 15 different damn things at one time. So imagine having to add the emotional gymnastics of multiple people. I'm tired.
Yeah.
I am tired. Okay.
Yeah.
But to your question, yes, it would go to 23, 24. And it would stay at 23, 24. Because if I'm one thing,
That's
I'm
when she stops
consistent.
counting.
If I'm one thing, I'm consistent. No, I'm consistent.
Yeah, no,
That's why
yeah.
it stayed where it was because
That Rolodex would be spinning.
Baby,
let me tell you,
baby,
spin it.
like a
call
Ferris
me
wheel.
call me the Indy 500 because I'll be making laps. Okay, you do it right, I'll keep coming back. Look,
I'll be making multiple laps, multiple
cars.
race tracks. Right?
Yeah, there you go.
cars, different tracks.
Remotes all at the same time.
Should have changed
All
cars. Look,
Baby,
On different
word.
days, different
Baby,
racetracks,
a whole ass word.
different states.
Oh God!
all right,
Is it
Dawon,
me?
you're up, baby.
Is it me?
Or Dawon?
All right.
It's Dawon.
Okay. Which auntie is most likely to have an extreme sexual fetish that they would never discuss on the podcast?
It won't be me because it would come out somehow. I'd say it. It probably Dawon.
Yeah, I think it's Dawon. Yeah, honestly, because you know she's very like
Right.
everything.
We
ain't
would
for
find out like
everybody.
15 years later.
Look. No, we found out while the three of us are together, but it ain't coming
Yeah.
on the podcast, okay?
That part
we
of it.
know, we
Yeah.
would know, but the community ain't gonna hear shit.
That's a whole word.
Listen, I think one of the things that the listeners I think know about me is that I will talk about a lot of things, but the one thing that I don't talk about is what's going on right now in the context of what I'm doing with
Immediacy.
whom, that it just separation. In the church
Even
and
on his
state.
social media, he'd be like, Dawon was in Brazil back in February. He just now posting pictures over here in July.
Yeah. But for the record, I do not have any extreme sexual fetishes that I, number one, and that I would discuss.
That's because they're normal to you.
Right. That's what's extreme to one person is. We do know he don't like shitting in the club though.
I mean,
Look,
He shat.
maybe my extreme
he on
sexual
Bumble.
fetish is shopping. It's, I don't know.
Hey,
Okay.
I get
Who's
it.
all right, well, you up.
Hey,
Is that
so,
you?
well, speaking of shitting in the club, who's most likely to take a shit in the club? I'm gonna say Jerrell.
I was gonna go you, Kerel.
in the
'Cause you-
club, like in the bathroom.
Because you
right?
almost peed in the bush at a club. So at
That's
least you
true.
almost
Well,
did something in a bar.
But pee and shitting are two different things.
But things were already unbuckling. So if any of us are anywhere close,
No,
I
like,
low key
ugh.
feel like, Jerrell, if you really needed to, you would find a way to make it happen and then absolve yourself of any plausible deniability. Like you would find the most farthest bathroom. You'll like switch your shirt inside out and then move to the other end so that there is no way that anybody will ever know. You'll be like, I'll be right back. I'm just going to go get a drink. And then she'll come back and she'll have sweet beads of sweat.
Right, she'd be 10 pounds lighter.
well,
floating.
as a professional bottom, let me tell you, my bowels are well trained, so I know it wouldn't be me.
Oh, there we go. That's true.
Okay.
Yeah,
But most
I don't
likely
foresee
too.
Shar shitting in no club. Honestly, I don't foresee. Honestly, that's a hard one. I don't
She
foresee. Right, she said. It ain't gonna be. I don't like pooping in public. You see me all the even that workout, I go to a whole different flow.
Yeah.
I ain't just gonna be pooping though.
Honestly, I wish that is I feel like a very American thing to be like, to have that shyness about peeing or pooping in public and whatnot. And I find that, when you go outside of the United States, most people don't have that at all. They're just like, I gotta take a shit. They talk about like everything, but we're very like, it's all those.
Mine isn't even the shyness. Mine's the cleanliness of the locale. That's mine. I don't like it's the cleanliness of the location. Ugh. Bathrooms are just disgusting, period, to me. Like, I just hate bathrooms.
Yeah.
So just to be at the club, and, especially after a certain hour in the club just be so nasty anyway.
I'd
like,
rather
people
go
just
home.
peeing everywhere. Ugh.
I'd just rather go home.
It's like, I'm going home.
Honestly,
It has to be.
Or I'm going to a hotel that's around the corner, going into theirs, because at least theirs might be a little cleaner than the club.
Yeah. Hot tip. I think I shared this on the podcast before. There was this thing where people were talking about, oh yeah, if you got to go to the bathroom, look for a coffee shop or whatever. No, that's not the tea.
No,
especially
it's
if you're in
not.
a major metropolitan city, find a hotel, because all hotels have a very, very clean and almost unused bathroom in the lobby. And you don't have to check in, you don't have to show a key or whatever. Now, as long as it's not after 11 o'clock when they close and lock the
Right.
doors, I'll just say that.
Yeah.
But if it's any time during the day, listen, for all y'all people out there that are out there, doing your
St. Patty's Day.
St. Patty's Day. I'm like Irish. I'm like trying to figure the words in my head, doing your St. Patty's Day thing, and you're trying to find a place where you got to release the whatever. Find yourself the nearest hotel, and they will have a restroom in the lobby, and you'll be able to use it. They'll have great toilet paper. It'll be clean, and then you can come out and join the rest of civilization without all that.
Smell
that
like
mess.
the hotel's signature scent.
Even if it's like like a
Best Western or something.
yeah, or Howard Johnson or Motel 6 or whatever, those kind of things. As long as they
better
have,
option than the club.
if they have a lobby, there's going to be a bathroom that is going to be open to the public that you can use, and it'll be clean. Okay.
all right.
next?
Let's should do the last one since we are about that time. All right. Who is most likely to commit a crime accidentally, like not planned, but just like didn't realize and.
This one. This one. Because if I commit a
because
crime,
I
it's
ain't
going to be
going
intentional.
intentional.
If you commit a crime,
Exactly.
it's going to be intentional. But this
Yeah.
one,
Correct.
she's like,
Not gonna
I'm not
intentionally,
trying to mess
yeah.
my record up.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about my record. I'm in my feelings right now.
That's the Linda Revis in me. That's my mom in me. Like, there's things that I do that I'm like, oh, I wish I could do that, but I can't. like it's so like sincere in me. I'm like, I just can't. My soul won't let me. No, you might be right on that. Who is it, Dawon?
Is it me? Okay. Which auntie is most likely to have a secret child they never knew they had?
Oh, damn.
Not regarding any of our gold status or platinum
right,
statuses,
right.
but which out of the three of us And I would love for the community to chime in on this one as well. Which one of us would likely have a secret child that they knew they never had?
My first inclination was Jerrell, but then Jerrell would know. And so then I was like, I don't think Sharp. But then I was like, is it me? I don't think it would be me, but maybe the most out of the three, maybe me.
I think it's you. I think 10 years from now, there's going to be somebody knocking on that door saying, Daddy! Daddy Kerel!
Right, Daddy Kerel. But I'm very intentional in that regard that, like,
it said,
and maybe I'm just thinking, like,
it said, I said, not it.
Yeah.
Have a secret child that they knew they didn't have. So it's not about intentional. It's not about, I planned this baby and forgot about it and left it. This is, you didn't even know it existed. I say that would be correct.
I think I'm leaning a little bit towards you, Shar, though. And here's the reason why. Because, like, say y'all fell out, that person dead to you. So whoever got that baby would never be you would never be checking back on that person. So if they actually end up having a baby, you would not know because you didn't cut them out your life.
I can see the logic in that, but I don't agree.
Correct. It's not correct.
I totally get the logic.
Oh, that's so funny. Yeah,
I just feel like
the toughest one.
I feel like honestly, like Jerrell, I take you out of that equation because I feel like there ain't nothing going on that your ass don't know about. So you might have a secret child, but a bitch would already know.
It's
so that leaves the two of us.
Everybody else.
Leaves the two of us, and I just feel like the propensity for a surprise would be more on Kerel's end than it would be from my end.
This might be like 51-49.
I feel like Kerel's
I think it ain't gonna happen to neither one of us.
I feel like Kerel's too emotional that like if someone like there's no way that a person would never pop up and they not know something.
Yeah,
right?
I would
like
know.
I just
and I wouldn't.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. That's why I said
because you about your business.
51.
I just been like I just think like because I think about like
I shot the club up and said, "Oh no, you your orgasm was not what it needed to be. So I'm out. You're done. It's a wrap."
it was given very meh. It happened and then never came back.
Community, break the tie for us, please.
I just think Kerel's friends with people on Facebook, like from all sorts of wayward things like that. That like. I just don't see it. I just don't see it.
Yeah. If I have a secret child that that I didn't know I had, they wouldn't find me.
There ain't no way.
They will be showing up at my door. They will find Kerel. They'll be knocking on that door. Mr. Kerel Ruthers.
That is a true statement. That is.
My mama told me I could find you over here.
That is a true statement.
I've been listening to your podcast for the last 2 years.
I know that's right. I knew you moved from Atlanta to Philly.
I've been following you.
Good. So damn. All right. Who's most likely to walk into a store to buy one thing and walk out with 10 things?
We know. Go ahead and put that Shar.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. I'm probably right there behind you, but yeah, sure, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
I ain't got the funds, so it definitely me. I'm house broke right now, so
house broke.
Bitch can't afford nothing.
Like, are y'all at like a grocery store? Like, say if you go into the grocery store, do you have a list or a mental list, or you go in and be like, okay, I kind of have a rough idea?
Yeah. I always have a list.
I never go in. I never go shopping when I'm hungry. Never go shopping when I'm hungry. I never go shopping when I'm full either. And I always have a list because when I'm hungry, then I end up being like, I want this meal, or maybe I want this meal. And I buy all the ingredients for the 5 different meals I want at the moment. Yeah. Nice case, at least the best thing is I got everything at home to make those 5 meals later the rest of the week, right?
Right.
But when I'm hungry, I don't want to eat shit. So I end up with like Little Debbie's, and I end up with like, some almonds and some celery and shit like that. I'm like, damn, now I got shit in my house. So
yeah.
Back when I was shopping at Target, which I don't do anymore for recent events, that was very much the case. I would go in there for one thing or two things, like, oh, I need to get, some Band-Aids and, like towels, and then come out there with like, oh, they have their whole new house set up, the house part, the housewares part set up, and the new edition of stuff, and you're like, oh, wait a minute. So yeah, that definitely would be me for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah. Like I'm not like a list person. I have a rough mental list of like, okay, I know I need this, but then sometimes I kind of just let the spirit move me in the store. Be like, okay, you know what? I feel like this. Because, like, again, I'm an out of sight, out of mind eater at that. So I never really am craving something. And so I almost have to go to the store and be like, oh, that does sound good. That does. Yeah. Because otherwise I'm like, I really don't know.
I noticed that the music in the store, if I'm not having my AirPods on, the music in the store also affects how much I buy. Because if I'm vibing with the music, I might stay and linger and go down the aisle another one or two times or whatever, like, and then pick up a couple. And they open up a Trader Joe's here in Harlem, so ain't nothing but black people there. So the playlist is nothing but 1990s R&B and rap. So I walk in there and it'll be Anita Baker, it'll be Surface, it'll be like it'll be DMX, and I'm just like,
this is it.
I stopped taking my headset because it's like,
cheese, stop, drop, just get your.
And you know the whole store bopping with it too.
I mean, listen, I'll be walking down the frozen food aisle and they'll be playing like Whitney Houston, and literally people are singing together. Like it's just, it's community. So
love that.
That's right. I can't grocery shop with air. That's another thing. I can't do sex. Like I can't have sex with like music really playing. I can't grocery shop with music playing either. I can't I can't concentrate.
Wow.
Because it's bizarre. Like music just does something to my brain where like I just can't concentrate. Like it's
you're
bizarre.
too busy breaking down the arrangements and building them back up.
It encompasses like my entire brain where I cannot like think about what I'm actually here to do. So I'll just literally be aimlessly like with the cart and be like, damn, like, well, I was supposed to go over there and get that. Like, it's weird.
Oh, see, I'm like the total opposite because when it comes to music, it's just background. Even if I really like it, because you know me, I don't know the words to any song, and I'll listen to Renaissance on shuffle. So, it's more about the melody and the musicality as it's almost like the soundtrack of my life as opposed to me really enjoying the music. So.
I get that.
All right, who has the next one?
I do. Who is most likely to keep a secret to their grave?
I think we're all.
That one needs to be okay. Who is the most likely to keep a secret to their grave?
I think we're all. I'm gonna just say Shar.
This is really hard.
I'm gonna say me.
But I think we would all be pretty damn good at it, quite frankly. But Shar is just very good at just presenting exactly what she wants presented in that moment. Yeah. I think Jerrell and I are maybe a little looser in that regard. We still present what needs to be presented, but we have some leeway in that.
I would say
Dawon's the most meticulous about that.
I would say that it would not necessarily be a secret because it's salacious or whatever, but it might just be things that people didn't know about me as a person that only certain people might know because they're either in it or they're in a situation that like the cone of silence with me with those things. But like in terms of like having like any kind of like salacious secrets or anything that would just be shocking to anybody, I don't have any of that stuff.
No, more like keep someone else's secret, not like have a secret. Yeah.
I think we'd all be.
I know we. Yeah, I think all of us would be good at that. Who would be the? Okay, let's rephrase the question. Then.
Actually, I'll take mine back because we're gonna have this on another episode. Or we might have already had it. Actually, I might do it for the episode we record tomorrow. Because while we said we were going to bring this up and we haven't yet. So a few weeks ago we had it. Actually, that's what it's going to be somewhere in recent episodes. You'll know what we're talking about.
Yes. Let's reframe the question and say, Jerrell, which out of the aunties would you choose to keep a secret to the grave?
Damn.
Oh, that's
Oh, so you trying to break up the group? You about to get us all in our
Why
feelings.
me? Why me? How about each of us? How about each of us do that?
We ain't got that kind of time.
Yeah, we do. Look, if I got time, nigga, you got time.
Honestly, like I think like I would probably tell both of you at the same time, like, okay, don't say nothing. But
honestly, like
XYZ.
If you had to choose, and I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't be offended. You can say Kerel if you want to.
He said, but I know it ain't correct. But you can say it if you want to. That's a very good question.
This is a tough one.
This is hard because
Should we make this a cliffhanger?
God,
I don't know what the
this is
cliffhanger
tough.
ending gonna be.
I don't know.
We'll circle back to it.
I know that if I gave Dawon a secret, I know that I'll be also seeking advice at that same time, right? So if it's like a secret that I'm like torn and I'm also like looking for some type of advice, I'm definitely gonna go to Dawon. But if I just need to get something off my chest, like I didn't kill somebody and I just need to just let somebody, I need to say it out loud to somebody, I'm just gonna say Kerel because Kerel gonna be like, okay, I don't know what you want me to do with this, but
It'd be like,
okay, like what's you?
Okay, you
I mean,
okay?
Okay, Diddy. Okay, Diddy.
Yeah, honestly, I trust both of you with it. Like if I think if we both like said to one another, "Hey, don't say nothing," we ain't gonna say nothing.
Yeah. I don't know. I think I have to say Dawon because I feel like of the two, especially like professionally too, I lean a lot more on Dawon. And when I'm going through like a lot of my professional things that I don't talk to anyone else with, like in that regard too, Dawon's already of the two that I go to, but I still share everything with y'all though. Like I may have like the first initial conversation with Dawon, but I still share it if that makes sense. Yeah.
I mean, and I think the community knows. Like we're not just podcasts.
I want to know who the community was. That's what I want to know. Like that should have been the question. Community of the aunties. Which one of us would you come to keep a secret?
We need a poll. We need to see.
Yes.
We need to see the results. Because I would say for me, if I had to just tell one of you a secret that I say I need you to keep a secret, I would probably tell Kerel. But if I wanted to do something that I wanted to be kept a secret, I would tell Jerrell.
Yeah.
I would tell Jerrell. Like it would be before Jerrell and after Kerel for me. No lie. Like that's exactly how I would approach it.
Hilarious.
Girl, Jerrell, I got to tell you something. I'm thinking about doing this. I'm probably gonna do it. Don't tell nobody.
And I'm like, say less.
Okay.
And I'm literally like, say less. Okay.
Can I watch?
It's like, you need some help? We'll do it.
That's good.
That's a good one.
Kind of situation. I ain't gonna do any and everything. My spirit won't let me. I'm not as reckless as Auntie Henny over here, but I can get there. Yeah,
clearly.
And I'll be coaching you along the way too. Don't slash it like this, slash it like this.
Oh.
You know, like I'm just like you
I'll be asking
that
for
camera
tips.
over there.
I'll be
Let me
asking
tell you,
for tips.
Look.
But yeah, I want to.
Jerrell gonna film it. He's like, you know what? I got somebody in queue anyway. I've been meaning to slash their tires anyway, so I'm gonna film it for you. I'll send it to you.
I'll do the editing.
Right.
We're giving a VIT lesson today.
Let's kick that one out to the community.
Yeah.
Which one of your aunties would you choose to keep a secret? That's what we want to know.
And please push it in the poll. We got the poll up right here. It's easy. Click it.
Yeah, I know
we
it's
get
me.
our feelings.
So yeah, no, I always just love when we just have those moments where we just get to kiki. And the thing I love about those moments too, because it's one of the few moments where I feel like it's exactly how we are when it's just the three of us without the cameras, without the microphones, without the podcast. So in those moments, I feel so much like how we are when we are literally at Dawon's place, just having some drinks, just kicking it, you know. So, yeah.
We're ridiculous. Like sometimes, like I just look back, I'm like, we are a trip.
And for as long as we've known each other, there's still a lot of stuff that we still are learning about each other as friends. So that to me is funny as well.
I do want to say though, there was one moment, because we always talk about Dawon's funeral moments.
Yes.
And the question was most likely to get blocked by a celebrity. And I quote from Dawon, "I would only say something that is correct. Now you may not like it, but it's correct." And I was like, if that is not
He's like, I stand in my truth.
You may not like it, but it's correct.
And low key, like I would probably not be blocked by anybody I'm following anyway, so I wouldn't even know if I'm blocked at all.
And that's like what you said too.
Like, block me if you want to. I'm still gonna say what I'm gonna say, and it's still gonna be correct.
Took me out. I would only say something that is correct. I said, if that is not, let me tell you, that's somebody's tagline as a housewife. Okay, turn around.
Period.
I only say something that's correct. With a peach in her hand.
Oh my god, that is hilarious.
Oh,
I live. We gotta do more of those too. It's like all these mental notes. I was like, okay, we gotta bring that back. Oh, we gotta do that. And community, if you have some questions, and that's what we should do. We should just ping the community of just like questions they want, and we'll put it in an episode.
That's a good idea, because I'm sure
that way we don't have to come up with all the questions. Y'all send us the questions, the things that you haven't heard, or curiosities of us that you've wanted to know over the years. We asked all the guests that maybe we have the community just do it for us. So
yeah,
we'll see. And y'all got to send them in though. If we put in all this effort to ask y'all, send us some damn questions.
Right over to the team.
Please do. Let's see here. For me, I chose a curiosity with Mayhem. It was one of my favorite curiosities of the year. There's something she was just very truthful.
taking it back.
A lot of
yes,
lots
so
of
it's just like
little drive-bys.
It was very matter of fact, which I adore. Some guests like maybe a little more tactful. Maybe not tactful. That's probably not the word I want. Just more curated. That's my word. I love that word now. Curated. But Mayhem was just like, this is what I think it is, what it is. Yeah. And it's cool to kind of get that energy for some of the guests. So yeah, so that's one of my favorite curiosities of the year. So here's a little piece of that. All right, we're gonna get into curiosity real quick here. So okay. Let's see here. The first one here is, let's see, who is your favorite actor or character from All That? Since you do your All That Throwback Tuesday at the Abbey.
Oh my gosh. What was her name? Was it Mary Beth? Was that her name?
Or Lori? Was it Lori Beth or Mary Beth? Lori Beth. The big girl.
She was the chunkier one.
Yeah, I think it was
Mary Beth. The librarian.
Mary Beth.
The vital Mary information.
Beth. Yep.
Yeah, she was my favorite.
She was just in a commercial as that librarian recently.
Lindbergh, right?
Where did
Mary Beth Lindbergh?
Something like that.
Not Dawon remember her name.
I know, right, Dawon. He said, I guess it must be a Dawon thing. That must be his favorite too.
All the way wrong.
Lori
Beth Denberg.
Denver. See, I knew it was something, but close enough. You down home, girl. You knew who we was talking about.
You had one of the three names, okay? You had one of the three names. There was a Beth, and you got it. So
we knew exactly what we was talking about.
I knew it was one of them. It was like, okay, there's a separate name and it's Beth. I know that.
Yes. that part. Is there a number that you know will kill every single time?
Ooh, I have Whitney Houston. Whitney Houston. I have nothing.
I have nothing. Yeah, baby.
Every time.
Hold on. I have nothing, or I will always love you.
Because who does?
Right.
When I do, I always love you. It's a crowd pleaser, definitely. But The other one,
I have
usually,
nothing.
that's the one everyone's like,
Yeah.
ah.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's the harder song.
Yeah.
Well, and it's also the music pause and breaks in that
Baby.
song too
Yeah.
for a lip sync that you have to have that timing. And actually, I think that's trending right now on TikTok where they're like the drop like we see a lot of people who are like in drums like trying to get the drop down.
Yep. Oh,
at
yeah,
the
I saw
exact
that.
same
Yeah.
time. Yeah,
It's the key change and everything. Yeah, she sang the
Yeah.
shit out that
Baby.
song.
So
She
did.
sang the
Wait,
shit out
speaking of
that
Whitney
song.
Houston, y'all saw that meme that said, y'all crackhead ain't gonna outdo our crackhead for the national anthem. Talking about her
Yeah, I
and
think
Demi
I did I send it
Lovato.
to y'all. I forget. Yeah.
Baby.
Like, keep
I
Demi
can't.
out this conversation.
I can't.
I said the internet be on one. It really did.
Stay on one.
Got the time today.
Let's see here. Do you still not wash dishes and buy new ones, or have you started washing dishes?
I learned my lesson about just saying shit on podcasts. I'm like, I need to guard
Yes.
my words sometimes because I said that and it has haunted me ever since.
I bet it has.
I mean,
She said, I'll be throwing shit away.
okay, I'll put it this way. I'm not throwing away dishes and pots and pans anymore. I have paper goods that I dispose of.
There we go. There we go. Boom. Boom. I'm with you on that. Your favorite color wigs, blonde, black, or brunette? Or a ginger moment, a red moment.
I love an ash blonde on me. It's a specific shade. It has to be ash.
Okay.
But if I find the right color of auburn, that's my favorite.
Oh, really?
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah. I love an auburn on Rue still. Like whenever
Yeah,
she
I
come
think
with
it
the
looks the
auburn,
best on her.
Same. Because she been in this blonde. This season in the wigs of Rue, by the way, I was not happy.
Not just the wigs.
It was a
It's
crunchy
the
season.
makeup, and it's the outfits, and it's the padding, and it's the shoes.
Wait, hold on, Mayhem. You didn't do the makeup, did you?
No.
Okay.
No, I don't ever get to do. I do not get to do Rue, but I did try on one of her wigs once, and
How did the hard line
I was
feel?
like, oh my God, she's sweating this. Oh. I was like, oh, this is Rue.
Wait a minute.
Oh. I felt like I put on a crown. I was just like,
I bet you did.
Yeah.
I said, I'm the only girl.
Brain.
I said, there's no other girl that can say I've been in RuPaul's wigs. I'm like, I'm the only one.
Wait, does Rue know you's been in RuPaul's wigs?
She oh fuck.
We can bleep that shit out. We can bleep
No,
that out.
Raven was like, put it on. And I was like, no.
Oh,
I'm
so
in
see, it's
trouble.
Raven's fault. See,
Raven was like,
here's-
it's fine.
I want to manifest this because I feel like you and Raven would be the perfect recast of It's a Simple Life. Like, have you in drag? It's yours.
I'm not mad at that idea.
Can you
That
imagine
would be cute.
going
That
into
would
like
be-
small towns and little bars or whatever, just causing all kinds of chaos and mayhem?
Ruckus. Gay
Yeah.
ruckus.
Because
Yeah.
that's what we
I can
used to
see
do
that.
all the time. We're from Little Town, so we would go into. I used to terrorize the straight bars here in Riverside. I would go to all the straight bars in drag and just party with the boys, and everyone would be like,
Are you doing?
"Who is this black drag queen in here?"
Just killing it.
And Raven was
You're
like,
it's
"Really
me,
gonna go in
it's me."
drag?" I'm like, "Yeah, girl, come on, let's go."
I love it.
Let's see here. Okay, I'm gonna preface this with we love both the queens. Okay, Sasha Colby or Sasha Velour.
That's not fair.
I know. It's not fair at all.
Oh my gosh, because they're two of my favorites. Do I have to pick one?
Yes.
The other Dawon said yes, so I'm gonna go with the other
Baby,
Dawon on
you
this.
got 10 toes. You better stand on this.
Or at least 9 of them.
I will say it with you.
Colby.
Yeah,
I see that.
and it could be like a 51-49%, like literally.
I love Colby because we've been friends way before Drag Race, and we have the same taste in music.
Yeah.
She is the only other queen I know that performs a lot of the stuff that I do that no one else knows. So
Okay.
we have that connection. But Velour, I adore of her artistry. It just in her own lane, in her complete own lane.
Yep. Mountains or beach?
Oh man, you're really killing me today. I adore the beach, but my spirit has been in the mountains this past year.
Oh,
okay.
Like Montana mountains or California mountains?
California mountains. I live at the base of a mountain right now, so I go to the mountains every so often when I have a day off. So I love the mountains anywhere though.
Yeah. Okay.
Come to Seattle. We got plenty.
I love Seattle. I love Seattle.
We got some hills over here in New York. I'm in the Heights. So we got some
roaches.
We got some hills.
I guess we got the Poconos now I think about over here. So, we got the Poconos. Have you ever gotten to meet Lady Gaga in person after denying her the dressing room at the beginning of her career? And tell this story, by the way. A lot of people might not know this story.
When Gaga first appeared to the world, she went on a gay bar tour, because that's what everyone does. You got to get the gays first. So she came with her disco stick, and we were told that we were told that there was going to be this artist coming, and they were going to perform after our drag show, and we were going to have to share the dressing area. But our dressing area was really small at that place, and I and some other people were like, absolutely not. We threw a big stink about it, and so they end up getting like a little trailer and had it parked in the parking lot, and they had her get ready in that instead. And I have not seen her since then. It's my biggest regret that I was that bitchy. It was like, absolutely not. What's a Lady Gaga? Ugh.
And
now Gaga's like,
in your wig and face full of makeup.
It was great. Like, it was
The
crazy
audacity.
Just Dance had went like bananas 3 weeks later.
Damn.
And it was on everything, and I was like, oh.
He said, oh, here's that Lady Gaga.
I said, oh, that's that girl. That's that girl.
And her disco stick.
He said, Stephanie, that's you, girl.
I was like, oh, that's that girl with that stick in them goggles. I said,
I mean, but to be fair, to be completely fair,
Yeah, that was a meteoric rise.
when Gaga came out, that was like complete left field from an artistry perspective. So like, and at that time there were like a gang of little like blonde little girls that were, doing kind of like the similar kinds of things. So
yeah,
it's the world wasn't really ready for that, and y'all had earned your spot in that dressing room. So I don't blame you one bit for making that
Take the little white girl, stick her in the trailer.
You got
I
to go.
said, put her in the Winnebago outside. I said, she
Baby.
ain't coming in here.
Right. She got to earn her dues like every goddamn body else.
If you're going to come to the gay bars and do a tour, look, that's what we do in the gay bars.
And Mayhem,
Earn your keep.
this is part of her origin story. So
It's true.
in a way,
You're welcome.
right. Mayhem is responsible for the new Mayhem that's out now.
I'm like, look,
She learned a lot in that trailer by herself.
That's why she named her album
Mayhem.
Mayhem.
I'm show her.
That's why it's named Mayhem. She was
That's why it's
talking
really
about
named
you.
Mayhem.
Everything
She
done
ain't
to
never
me,
forgot.
been already done to you.
She ain't forget. Oh Lord. You once said that you blamed Freddie, Tyson, Ryan, John, Boris, Shamar, Jared, JC, Chico, and Jew for de-straightening you in the 90s. So I'm gonna give you 3, and the rest gotta go. Who really did the de-straightening though?
Oh God. Okay, who was on that list?
I'll say it again. You had Freddie Perez Jr., you had Tyson Beckford, you had Ryan Phillippe, you had John B., you had Boris Cujo, you had Shamar Moore, you had Jared Leto, you had JC Chazé, you had Chico DeBar. Chico DeBars was fine as shit back in the day, baby. Drew Law. Mine might be Chico. Chico, he had just got out of jail when he had that song with Joe. Baby,
She said she had a type.
I have a type.
Chico came out. He said, "Baby, I don't like women's no more." Woo.
Okay.
Well, who's the top 3?
Top 3 is Tyson, Ryan, Shamar.
I think we have a very similar top 3, honestly.
And
Ryan
I'll kick
still
Ryan
looks
off for
good
Chico.
today.
Ryan still looks good.
Tyson
Shamar
still looks
Tyson
good.
looks good.
Shamar still
Boris
looks good.
Cujo and his
good.
wife. That's just a pretty ass couple.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
Woo. Freddie Perez ain't aged as well. He's out.
Yeah, Freddie, he didn't age too well. He still looked good though.
He look all right. I wouldn't say
Still look
no,
good.
but
We
I
know
think
you
out
wouldn't
of
say
that
no.
whole group, I think everyone did okay aging.
Yeah.
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 I haven't seen Chico. I don't know where Chico at, but Chico.
And actually just on John B on the Sherry Shepherd show like
John
last
B.
Yeah,
week.
he's
Yeah.
pulling it together.
Yeah, he just had a new song that just came out.
Yeah. I haven't listened to it. I want to listen to it. We'll see if it still give me the '90s energy. Because
I don't know. Some of the people making their second trip, like making their comebacks. I ain't been featuring it just a little bit. Sorry, Carrie
John B
Hilson.
was always invited to the barbecue.
Yeah.
You said no Carrie?
Carrie Hilson. I didn't like
The
it.
album's not good.
I didn't like
It's not.
it.
I
Did you
know,
like
and
it? Did
I
you
like
like it?
Bay. I didn't like the rest of the songs.
Yeah. It just felt like she pushed pause and then pushed play from back then. But there was nothing new to make it a little bit more updated.
Relevant.
I felt like I was literally listening to a song from a previous album, which when I listened to music back then, I listened to those albums. If you're gonna give me something from back then, I need something just a little bit different. Just not a whole bunch different, but it was a copy and pasting back then.
And like she says, a 3-part album. So like this is like the first part of the other 2. So I'm hoping the other 2 parts.
She
got
needs to
something
stay away
new.
from Beyonce. That's how she got canceled in the first place. What you mean you gonna do a 3-part album? I'm sorry. This is about Mayhem. So back to the questions, please.
I'm so good with you. All right, we're gonna put together a Drag Race Voltron,
Okay.
and we're gonna. So the Voltron is like the different pieces. So it could be, one piece from this drag queen, this piece from this drag queen, and the first one's gonna be makeup, but it can't be Raven because that's a cheat code. It can't be Raven. Who would do the makeup for this Voltron?
Okay. Ooh, who has good makeup?
He said nobody else but me and Raven. Shit.
Baby,
oh,
that is a Dawon
you know
thing to
what?
say.
I will say morphine.
Yes.
The guy, get away. He loves him some morphine. Damn it all. Y'all Dawans are the same. Literally,
Morphine
just like the
can
night
paint.
at the Queerties, we took a picture with morphine to send to Dawon because he loves the way morphine
Her
paints.
her makeup is really, really good.
It's so good.
It is very
it's
good.
and it's
It
under
is
and
good.
honestly, it's underappreciated in the
The
stratosphere of
ego,
everything that exists because that girl
I
can
agree.
paint.
Yeah.
All right. Which drag queen is going to be doing the hair?
Delta.
Who's Delta? Yeah. Yeah.
1000%.
See, that's a cheat code though too, because Delta'd be doing it. So outside of Delta,
Who has good hair?
It'd be so hard.
he said, "I'm going bald headed."
Not these hoes.
Sasha Velour.
It's a good look.
Baby,
good look.
Mayhem, you're gonna get dragged for this because the name should be dropping off the tongue, but what you're not saying
All
is saying a
17
lot.
iterations and all 10 all stars, they all hating you right now. They say, oh, bitch.
What about me? Since you got your fucking degrees.
Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh
I'm
my
just
god!
egging you on. I'm just egging.
Oh my! I can't think of someone that has great hair.
As for those listening, like Delta
does hair.
did wigs were ruined. Like, so that's a cheat code. Raven and Delta, you can't do them that because that's the ultimate drag queen. Doing the hair and the makeup for the ultimate one.
Yeah, no, we're going bald.
Yeah.
Going bald headed. Damn.
We're going to wear a helmet. A helmet.
No, she not Gigi Good. The Gigi Good collection.
Oh shit!
Gigi
No,
Good does good hair.
she does great
She
hair. She did a
does.
wig for me. We're going Gigi.
Okay.
Yeah.
See,
Yeah, Gigi
I
does
got you,
very
boo.
good hair.
I got you.
I forgot she did a wig for me. Yeah, she's good.
Yeah. Okay. So we'll go with Gigi. All righty. Performance style.
Chad Michaels.
Ooh.
Okay. Okay.
Captivating.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna be entertained.
You know what? I haven't done this one before. I'm gonna throw this one in here because it just came to me. The wit. Have I done the wit, like the comedic style?
Personality, the wit, the way she comes across.
Jasmine Masters.
I'm not mad.
Yep.
At it. I'm not mad at it. Hey, what's
Yep.
up, Jazz?
Hey,
That's
Jazz.
Hey, Jazz.
We gotta have her back on the
See?
podcast.
Makes me laugh so much. I love her to death. Her in the dressing room, it's a riot. It really is.
That's how I got to meet Epiphany because I reached out to Jasmine, who's in Palm Springs, and she was like, "I'm performing with Epiphany at the Flip Phone." And every time I go to Palm Springs, I be like, "What's up, sis?"
Love her.
And then the business acumen.
Ooh, Bianca.
Ooh.
Not mad at that.
Yeah.
answer, too.
Yeah.
You know, Bianca low key be painting too. Low key, it's very Bianca, but Bianca be painting.
She can paint, and it's original. That's
Yes.
her. That's her stamp.
Yeah.
And I wonder if she could do anything different outside of that. But it's good. It's good.
It's
When you look
really
at it
good.
up close, it looks great, and then when on stage, it looks even better.
Yeah. I'm like, okay, Bianca low key, but yeah, no, her business acumen. Okay. And then is there like, I mean, that's the Voltron. Is there to you a Rushmore of drag? Like, who are the four people where you're like, this is just the epitome of drag outside of yourself? We already know
Outside
you
of
are.
me,
Yes.
my Mount Rushmore is Rushmore's 4 or is it 5?
4.
Yep.
4. Ooh, Raven. Sasha Colby. I would pick. Oh,
I know it's tough.
oh, this is hard. Okay, we're doing Velour too, and then I'll land with. I'm gonna land with. Ooh, Raja.
Ah.
I think that's a really
nice
good
Rushmore.
Rushmore.
That's a nice Rushmore.
1000%.
And these are like
Ooh.
contemporaries too. I was wondering if you were going to go like, you know, like homage to, or, you know, like, so this is great.
Yeah. And then we always ask everyone this: Beyonce or Janet?
Janet.
No hesitation, no beat, because
Right,
it wouldn't
there was
be.
no- You said that. You're the one that said this the quickest.
Yeah.
I Janet was the last concert I saw, and I was blown away.
Yeah. And she's still up there at like 58, 59.
Yeah.
I didn't realize how much of her music that I love. I was like singing, I sang through the whole concert. I was like, dang, she has a lot of hits that I was like, oh my God. Yeah, you are that girl. I was like, okay. And she was the first tape I ever bought.
Really?
First cassette tape.
Really?
Yeah.
I love it. She was my first CD that I ever got. My parents got me they got me a couple for that Christmas. It was the Boyz II Men, their first album, and then 2 had just come out. It was a Janet album, and I feel like I'm missing one in there. I forget what the 4th one is at, but all I knew was the Janet with the titties out, and I was like, oh, that's how they should have known I was gay. Like, I didn't want the titties. I was just like, just like the gorgeousness of it, and I was like, oh my gosh, she's so pretty. Oh, we'll never forget that. And it was the CD, and I got my boombox that year too. Best Christmas ever. To this day, best Christmas ever. Oh man,
Fell out. Honestly, the whole Lady Gaga situation took me
insane.
back.
Insane.
I was like,
That was funny.
Like, bitch, get out my
imagine.
trailer. Get your own trailer.
who is this little girl? She gotta go. She gotta go.
But I mean, low key though, I mean, that's how it be. Like sometimes people are like, damn, I don't work my way to get a trailer, and now you want to give it to this little white girl?
Yeah.
I mean, my feelings probably a little bit too.
Who was
but
a
then you're like,
nobody
damn.
at that time, and you never really know
like it's
who's going to
Gaga.
like blow up.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, damn,
Never
my
know.
bad. Love you, Gaga.
And what's wild is like there are so many artists that probably go through like the gay club scene, you know,
Yeah.
just because of adjacency and trying to get their name out there and trying to build a fan base and all that kind of stuff very early on in their careers, that it's just like, you know, yes, you want to be kind to everybody for sure, but you know, but it's gotta be mean to some people.
It's like, I got 2 hours of makeup to do. You sit over there,
Exactly. Like I earned my seat at this table,
baby. Seriously.
You just try to figure it out.
And I always just love and have the drag girlies on, just to kind of see what their perspective of who they look up to or who they think is the best of the best in their field, you know?
Yeah.
So I always love those little like drag Voltrons and Rushmores, because it gives that perspective, and it might rub some people the wrong way, but it is what it is. Like that's their perspective, and hey,
And low
step your
key-
pussy up then.
And low key, like the drag Voltrons or Megazord or, you know,
Yeah.
Rushmores or whatever, however you put it, it's kind of a way of, you know, these individuals, whether they're drag performers or not, to give flowers to people in their own community.
1000%.
You know, it's like you don't have to wait for somebody to, you know, to be out or to retire or to no longer be here to give them their flowers. And it's a really great way to memorialize, you know, what you like about, you know, people that are in your circle or people that you admire.
I agree. Absolutely. So thank you, Mayhem, for stepping in, and like that was just another connection when we went to the Queerties, to kind of meet her in person and things like that. And she was infatuated with Jerrell.
I was like, hey, we see each other. You said you
Exactly.
can come on the podcast, and I was
Bet.
like, all right, cool. Don't be one of the girlies say something and do nothing. She was like, trust, I won't. I was like, bet.
I know that's right.
Bet.
So shout out to Mayhem, and I'm just looking forward again, like we said it last week, like just the guests and things like just more guests and more curiosities and more Ask Yo Aunteas in the future and more segments. We're going to try to test out a few newer segments as well in 2026, so be on the lookout for that. And but yeah, I'm excited. And so obviously next week we'll be refreshed,
back.
brand new episode.
Yes.
After the holiday season and the new year, and Jerrell will officially be old as shit by then.
Well, technically, no, I'm old as shit now because my birthday was
you kind of old now, but Next week, that's when the knees will start hurting the shit.
Well, I mean, technically, my
One more
birthday would have
weekend.
been like 3 days ago when this comes out.
Yeah,
so
one more weekend, then that's when the
oh,
ankles start creaking a little more.
Dang.
And then you'll get the double ARP card in the mail, and all that kind of good stuff.
Well, the
Welcome,
gag is I will be in Palm Springs for my birthday, so I guess I'm in the right place.
Yeah, well, we'll hear all those stories then. We'll see how Palm Springs. Hopefully, we get us another little Kim picture. That we can
Hey, yeah.
absolutely. But anything else in your hearts and minds before we get out of here?
No, thanks, community.
Yeah.
No,
Thank you.
just keep rocking with us. And then send us some damn Ask Yo Aunteas, goddammit. Like, spill the beans.
Period. Wash your hands, your legs, and your ass, and we will see you next week. Bye.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.